Hey guys, it's Luke here and welcome back to another video. You join me this afternoon, the sun is setting and I'm stuck in rush hour because we are heading to BMW. Now actually, funny story about this afternoon, we are heading to the same dealership where I collected this car, and this will be the first time it has returned back there since I bought it. Obviously it's looking and sounding a lot different now, so that'll be interesting. Because we're heading there to see the brand new M235i Gran Coupe. So yeah, pretty exciting to see that. I've spent quite a lot of time around the new 1 Series, and obviously this shares a lot of things with that car. And I've been invited along by the guys at Partridge, so I thought, why not? Let's come along, bring the 140, and basically feast out on all of their food. So yeah, that's what we're doing, heading there now. Slowly and surely, Chloe's with me as well. There's food on offer. Of course, you're going to be there. Yeah, go check out this new car. But yeah, taking the 140 back to basically the birthplace of my ownership, if that makes sense. So that'll be quite cool. And yeah, see what we think of this new car. So, a couple of minutes away from the dealership now. It's actually quite odd for me to be filming a video at the end of a day. It's normally bright and early in the morning. But yeah, like I mentioned, first time bringing this car back to the dealership. Obviously I collected it now, when did I collect it? October? November?
Yeah, October, I think.
Around that time. It's really flown by, the ownership of this car, and I'm not gonna lie, I've done quite a lot of stuff to it since then. But yeah, this video obviously is all about the new M235i. First of all, let me know what you guys think about this car. I think the press drives actually happened fairly recently, so I'm surprised that they're already in dealerships and pretty much going out for customers pretty soon as well. But just up here on the left is the dealership, Partridge.
A couple of nice M4s.
Yes, oh, very nice. We'll have a little wander around some of the stock as well, because we love a good M4 or two. See if we can nab a good space, and fingers crossed it's fairly quiet so I can actually show you the car properly. We've also got a Mini up there. Not sure if they've got a GP3 in there yet or not.
No, we've got a couple of electrics.
Anyway, oh yeah, that's true. Right, there is the car in there. See that there? Oh, and an M2. Is that Comp? I think it is. We like that. Right, let's park up and go and have a wander. So, pretty cool to have this thing back here, looking a lot different than what it did beforehand. Obviously, new wheels, all the Maxon stuff, the stripe, the exhaust, and also the plates, because I collected it on the standard 19 plate. Anyway, before we head on inside, the car, as we've seen, is over there. Let's have a little wander around of some of the stock, because there is some very, very nice stuff. Mainly these two here. We'll start off with the M4. This is a competition pack. It's also the convertible. You very rarely see them with the convertible. Obviously it's a hardtop, so it does look pretty much like the Coupe, but obviously has the ability of putting the roof down. This colour, Mexico blue I believe, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is a Porsche colour, and pretty rare. However, they have another one up there as well, which we'll get to very shortly. Black kidney grills on the front. This thing looks absolutely stunning. I love the competition wheels that come on the M4 and M3. Very, very nice car, and pretty good value for money now. 52 grand. Mind you, they can probably come down a little bit more. But yeah, as well as that, oh yes, E92 M3 frozen silver with some pretty familiar wheels. Recognise these? Obviously, the wheels that are on my 140 are basically a replica of these. But yeah, love these cars. A friend of mine, Ben Rain, who's also on YouTube, has just gone and bought himself one of these. Might have to give him a ring actually, because I love these things. I'm having watched a few of his videos actually. It's reincarnated my love for them. I mean, look at this. I have to say, this generation of M3, even though that's an M4, is a lot better than that generation. I'm sure you'll all agree, but yeah, stunning car. Oh, we'll have a little look inside there. There we go. Awesome. Love, love, love this. Would love to own one day. What do you guys think? Should I swap the 140 for one of them? New Z4 as well. Joel, you'll like that. Very nice. What else we got? Another M4. Another M4. Sunset orange on the M140i. Very nice colour. And actually, wonder if anyone will notice if I nabbed the mirror caps. Carbon M3 and M4 style. Very, very nice. I think I might need to get myself some of them. But yeah, Sunset Orange actually looks quite good on these. And I remember when I first bought the 140, everyone said, oh my days, it looks so bland and dull. And I'm sure you'll all agree with me now that, well, I agree with you, to be fair, actually, should I say, because they do look quite understated and almost dull when they're stock, with the wheels, which I was never really a fan of, without any low-line kit or anything, although those mirrors do look pretty nice. Another M4 without the black kidney grills, which is actually quite interesting to see. And then we have the other Mexico blue M4. This one, unlike the other one, is the Coupé, so we get the carbon roof as standard, along with actually quite a interesting interior. I personally go for black and maybe try and get some contrast stitching through the exclusive manufacturer, I believe. But yeah, another competition, of course, with the wheels. Black kidney grills, very, very nice spec indeed. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Have a little scan round. Nice colour, steel blue. But yeah, I think let's head on inside, seeing as we are losing light, even though it is getting actually surprisingly lighter in the evenings now. We're still not greeted with the whole evening being nice and light. But let's head on inside, have a little look. But yeah, that's my favourite. Nice and warm in here. So, here we are then, in the handover bay, which actually some of you guys may recognise, because this is the exact room where I took delivery of my 140. That's quite cool. Anyway, 235i, pretty cool looking car actually, I think, and we'll get into all of the details inside and out for it. But just a little bit of a background with this new range. There are 3 different model options. We have this, which is the range topper, obviously, the M235i xDrive, which we'll explain a little bit later on. We then have the M Sport Edition and also the Sport Edition, which I believe is a diesel. But yeah, this colour is lovely, very similar to Long Beach Blue, which you'll find on the M2. This is in fact Snapper Rocks Blue, which I think is a brilliant name for a colour. Very light and sparkly blue. Getting straight into things though, the engine. In fact, we'll hop in here and pull the bonnet quickly so we can have a little look under there. So we have a 4-cylinder 2-litre turbo under here, transversely mounted, so kind of the other way than what normal engines are. You're looking at around 306 brake horsepower, 450 newton meters of torque, which is pretty strong numbers. I believe that's the most powerful 2-litre engine, well, the most torquey, sorry, that BMW have ever made. But it's a good looking engine bay, and you'll probably recognise those words from the video I made with the 135i recently. This of course shares the same engine as that car, and from what I've experienced so far, I've been in a couple, pretty good little engine. Some more stats for you. You're looking at just shy of 5 seconds to 60, 4.9 to be exact, and it's also electronically limited to 155. The car does have launch control due to the fact that this car is an xDrive system, which basically means that it's technically a front-wheel drive car. However, it does have the ability to put up to 50% of its power to the rear wheels. It does have launch control fitted, so I say fitted, does have launch control on it, I guess we could say, which combined with the xDrive system basically means why it's so quick 0 to 60. It is pretty mad how little things like this are like under 5 seconds to 60, in some cases under 4, which is pretty mad. And one other thing to mention, it has the 8-speed automatic gearbox as well, which, having experienced, well, the same gearbox which is in the 135, very good, pretty seamless, easy for daily driving, and I think this is what this car really is. It has the power to really go at it off the light, but it also has the drivability and usability, especially with the extra space in the back seats and the boot. But anyway, moving on from some performance stats, looks. Now, when the new 1 Series came out, it did divide opinions. However, I quite like it. I really like the front end. It's a lot more aggressive than the 140, comparing it to that logically. Now, the 235i does share quite a lot of design cues with the 1 Series, apart from the back, which we'll get onto very quickly. But yeah, It is a very aggressive car. Of course, pretty recognisable as a BMW with the kidney grills. Of course, the ones on this car and also the 1 Series are pretty futuristic actually. They've kind of moved away from the slats that go downwards. We also have a few gloss black bits which do look very nice. I believe on the 1 Series which I saw and went in up at Motec, these were like a champagne colour which I believe matched the grills here. But I think having them in black definitely makes a big difference, although I think if those were black as well, that'd be pretty cool. LED lights up front, very nice. They have quite an aggressive shape to them. They're not really the round lights which BMWs used to have, so that's pretty cool. And all in all, the front end of this car is actually pretty aggressive. But let's head on to the back, because that is where I think, at least from, I believe, the B-pillar back, where this car is a lot different. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting like Mini X6 vibes from the back. It looks pretty cool, pretty aggressive. I like how it kind of dips down straight after the spoiler, which, by the way, is, I believe, a standard option on this, the M Performance lip spoiler, along with the M Performance exhaust, tucked away down here, right at the bottom. But yeah, equally sharp and aggressive towards the back. I'm glad that all of the sharp and aggressive design cues have made it to the back of the car as well, and also the inside, which we'll get to very shortly. But just one more thing, visually wise, the wheels. Now these are obviously shared with the 135i as well. These are 19-inch Cerium Grey, I believe that's how you say it. I might have butchered the pronunciation of that, but multi-spoke, almost diamond cut, because we've got the kind of brushed silver here and a slightly more grey finish on there. We've also got the M Performance brakes, which will probably be more pronounced at the front. But yeah, nice wheel design actually. Very, very nice. Whilst we're down here though, we may as well touch on this suspension. We've got a specific M Performance suspension which has been designed and developed for this car. We also have a limited slip diff from standard, which is located on the front axle here, primarily because this car 80% of the time is front wheel drive. But limited slip diff from factory, yes please. Wish I had that on the 140. But yeah, when I was doing some research on this, I was very, very surprised and impressed when I found that out. Now, another pretty cool feature that the new 235i has is it has some tech derived from the i3S, which we have parked over there, and that is an ARB tech. Now, basically what that is a wheel slip limitation actuator, which basically reduces understeer, or the initial understeer, which basically makes this car a lot more agile and almost like it is on rails. Now, because of this car is pretty much front wheel drive, understeer is an issue, but because of the ARB technology, apparently that is limited quite substantially. Now this works alongside the DSC control, which we're all pretty familiar as BMW chaps, which again makes it more agile and quite good at cornering apparently. Now BMW Performance Control also kind of works alongside that, which basically, say we're going around a left-hand turn here, basically applies the brakes to the inside wheels, which basically means that you can turn around the corner a lot better. It keeps the car a lot more stable, we get less body roll, and ultimately very, very good at cornering. So some pretty cool tech behind this car. Anyway, that's enough for the outside for the time being. Let's open up the door here and have a little peek inside. Now, very familiar interior. If you are familiar with the new 1 Series, for example, we have the M Performance Alcantara seats. They come as standard. Pretty nice seats, actually. I'm liking the blue touches. We also have the M Performance leather steering wheel, which is nice and chunky. I don't think they go properly out there and go for an Alcantara wheel, obviously, because this isn't really a fully fledged M car. It's a kind of a new addition to the M Lights series. We also have lots of other blue stitching and texturized areas here and there. Anyway, let's take a little seat inside, where we are greeted with, fairly honestly, a pretty nice interior. We have two 10-inch displays, one right in front of you for the instrument cluster and also one for the infotainment here. Now this is BMW operating system 7.0. Now basically with this car you can actually give commands toward this in multiple ways. Fairly obviously, we of course have the trusty iDrive. I've lost count with how many cars this has featured in, but I think it wouldn't be a BMW without it, so we can of course kind of navigate through it with the different buttons, and also the wheel here. We've also got touchscreen, so that's nice and handy. You can kind of flick through the different screens. You've also got voice command, which is pretty standard with most cars nowadays, but also gesture control, which is an optional extra. I'm not sure if this car has it. Oh, vehicle will be switched off shortly. But yeah, you can spec that in if you are buying one of these new. Now the 235i specifically has the BMW Live Cockpit Professional Pack as standard, which basically allows the 10-inch display here, which I don't think the other cars, so the Sport and the M Sport, have unless you spec them up. We also have a 9-inch head-up display, which obviously isn't on right now. That's full colour and displays speed fairly obviously, also navigation, and also I believe the speed limit, which is pretty handy. But one thing which I like about this is you can pretty much customize the whole infotainment system to your liking. I believe you can have up to 10 different pages of configured information, so you can have, say, the weather, the news, the date, the location that you're in, and everything like that. You can have up to 10 pages for that, and you can also configure the instrument cluster as well. This is kind of BMW's new design. Again, quite aggressive. I feel it's kind of a step forward from the standard round instrument cluster dials. You can have the navigation in the middle. This car is only showing 25 miles from new. This car is still very new, as are all of them. Anyway, moving on from that, M Performance steering wheel, like I mentioned, nice and chunky actually. That's one thing I like about BMWs. You get nice chunky steering wheels. This one is finished in full leather. We don't get a flat bottom. I don't think it really needs one in that sense because it's not a fully fledged M car, but we do of course have the flappy paddles on either side. This car is essentially a semi-automatic. You can of course have it in full automatic, but if you want to use the paddles, you can do just by flicking it into the manual or sport mode. Talking about some of the buttons down here, we also have the traction control. Now, like I was saying with the DSC systems, with the braking on the inside wheels, depending on what way you're going around the corner, you can fully switch that off if you do want to take full control, which is nice. So if you don't necessarily like all the driver aids, then you can switch them off. This car has parking sensors and also turn off the start-stop. We of course have the start-stop engine there, and then you've got different modes which you want to be in there. We've got Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro. I kind of feel like this car would really thrive in comfort mode, because even though it is an M Sport, I feel that this car is just a whole lot more usable than, say, the 135i, which this will be going on sale up, well, not really up against, kind of alongside, shall we say. Now, BMW Connecteddrive also comes as standard with this car, and that basically gives you information like real-time traffic, which is very, very handy if you want to dodge a pesky old traffic jam ahead. We can also have CarPlay, which is also enabled on this. I think it'll be a no-brainer with this nice 10-inch display, and also remote services available too. Having a bit of a wander around this kind of section, a very subtle and clean-cut climate control region, shall we say. Oh, it's turning off again. Almost quite hidden in the sense, because normally it's like a big old panel. We of course have heated seats and different, well, the fairly obvious different controls there. And we also have the oh, it's woken up again. Also have the radio controls there for the volume and speakers. Talking about speakers, I believe we have the Harman Kardon system on this. There we go, which I have in my 140. I can't imagine it's much different in this car. Incredible sound system. That is of course the upgraded optional extra system. But yeah, kind of having a little bit of a tour around the engine bay. It is a nice place to be. I know I say that a lot, but it really is. We do have mood lighting on this, which I'm not sure is activated at the moment, but basically you can configure, again, a lot of configuring in this car. I believe 6 different colours for ambient lighting. I think this car, personally, would have to be blue, or maybe even orange to go with some of the dials here, and you can, of course, adjust the brightness as you want. But yeah, pretty nice little car actually. These are, like I said, the M Performance seats, which I believe are the only option in this car, but they still are pretty comfy. I'm not sure if they are electric or not. Let's have a little hop out and have a little look. Not really, but to be honest, it's an M car. Well, not an M car, an M Light, shall we say. So you wouldn't really necessarily expect that, but still, very nice seats indeed. We have the M colours on the seat belts, nice touch, and also a little piping on the side. Anyway, let's have a little wander into the back, because like I said, this is where this car will thrive. Now, I'm not the tallest of people. I'm sure that's a known fact on this channel, but let's have a little step inside. Fairly easy to get in, and a surprising amount of headroom actually. A lot of headroom at that. But yeah, Seats, of course, do carry on into the back. Same design and everything. We've got 2 USB sockets down there in the middle, along with a climate control section there. Pretty standard in here, but nice, I like it. Now, one benefit with this kind of shape of car is the roof isn't going down much yet, so that kind of gives you the good headspace before obviously swooping down to the boot area. But yeah, a decent amount of space and a pretty good view up there as well. Hopping out once again. I do love this colour, I really do. Snapper Rocks blue. Have a little close up of that. See that? Some of the different specs. Anyway, let's have a little look in the boot. I'm not actually sure how you open this. Ah, there we go. Right, in here, I believe off the top of my head, 430 litres of space in here. Goes back quite a way. The front seats are quite far up that way. But oh yeah, you can have the opportunity to take this individual floor mat out to have a little bit more space. It's not the deepest of boots, but again, still pretty good nonetheless. But yeah, what do you guys think? Having a pretty in-depth look at this thing now. It's a cool little car. It'd be good to hopefully get behind the wheel of one, maybe at some stage, but especially in this spec. Very, very nice. Now, I think at least maybe a small proportion of you guys value my opinion at least some of the time. I'm going to give you my opinions on this car and how I would personally spec it. I'm a big fan of this colour. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times in this video, but Snapper Rocks blue, very, very nice colour indeed. Definitely a worthy option. I don't know if they are an option to have gloss black or black wheels from standard, maybe retrofit them or retro spray them, shall we say, aftermarket. But I don't dislike these wheels, actually. I think it goes well with the whole kind of vibe of the car. Still very sharp in terms of a design cue. But for those of you also wondering, on the road price of this car is around £37,000. This obviously varies with different amounts of spec. I know that you can option a panoramic roof, which I think for one of these, kind of a Gran Coupe style car, is definitely worth the option. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I do actually really, really like it. I'm not sure if I would necessarily swap it with my M140i. I think they're different beasts in their own right, but I do like the gloss black around the edge of the doors. Good that people are starting to get away from the chrome. I think that's definitely died its death. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap things up there. Once again, a huge thank you to the guys at Partridge. I'll leave their information down in the description down below. There's a lot of information and lots of different facts about this car, so I'm sure I've missed something, so do let me know down in the description if I have. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up for today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed this slightly different approach to a video, kind of a first look, no driving or anything, just a detailed look around a car. If you want me to do more of it, then let me know down in the comments as well. But anyway, that's going to wrap things up for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please do make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe for all the adventures still to come.